I'm sitting on the edge of my shower here. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday night. My Monday, but it's Sunday. Let's see here. Dragons with Matches. Yo, what's up? J Green 5129. Good to see you, my friend Dan Studsky. No one's actually here. It's just me talking to myself at the moment, but that's completely all right. It's been a good week so far. I was back my first day of my work week today, so that was good. Working away on different things, and it's funny discovering all these old school parts. Well, not old school, but like overpriced LED drivers, not for like grow lights, but actual LED drivers for like one of my buildings that's in White Rock is like overly designed, and they've got all these crazy drivers and weird controllers built into it. It's vastly over designed. But like some of these drivers though, they paid thousands and thousands of dollars for these drivers, and I'm looking at the thing. I found a bunch of extra ones that they didn't know they had, so I took one open and opened it up and took a look at it. And I'm like, dude, this has got shittier parts than the Meanwell. Why'd you guys spend thousands of dollars on this thing? It was absolutely hysterical. But what are you gonna do? How's everybody doing today so far, though? Having a good day so far? There's only two of you here right now, which is totally fine. Oh, we got four now. Five. I'm just finishing my dirt real quick, and then we'll get out onto the couch there. Dan Stutsky says, I had a great day. Hell yeah. That's awesome. I had an effective weekend on my days off. I got the house really clean and cleaned the whole couch upholstery-wise, did tons of laundry, getting the house geared up so I can kind of this week start making videos again, and we're going to be doing the old bean video, obviously. And then we're going to get that going. I've still got to go through the genetic vault there and find all those damn Gorilla Blue beans. What's happening, Jason Anderson 5320? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Yes, I do have the occasional dart, maybe 2 or 3 a day. Mostly vape these days, but it's okay. I'm excited for the Gorilla Blue, though. Because, one, like I said, it's just one of the funkiest, weirdest strains ever. One of the funkiest, weirdest strains ever. And she's got so many interesting phenotypes that exist within her genome in terms of just the smells, the flavors, the dankness, shall we say. And it gets so frosted and so crystally and just so dank. I definitely think it's worthwhile. And like I was saying in the last show, my friend Christina just wants me to bring it back. So there's some fresher versions of those beans available. Okay. So, I'm going to send her some of those, obviously, but she's given me permission to exclusively breed it and put it on our store so everybody around can pick up some of those beans and try those too. Dan Stutsky, wonder if that's better than blue cheese. I'd say it's funkier than blue cheese. Like, blue cheese is quite funky, but I would say Gorilla Blue's funkiness is funkier than a traditional blue cheese. And I'm trying to remember all what she put into that. If I'm going back in my brain, it's got a cheese berry or something, or a cheese something. There is a little bit of cheesy genetics that went into the Gorilla Blue at one point. I do know that it has something cheesy. No, it doesn't. I'm remembering that wrong. She said it was glueberry. There's no cheese in that. So, now, mind you, who knows what went into lineages of that. But I think it's glueberry. It was a glueberry OG. It went into a blueberry indica. Man, I wish she was here, because she was the one who actually developed the strain, and it'd be nice to, see what she actually put into it. What's up, Visible Farms? How you doing, Pilgor? Good to see you, buddy. Henry Montgomery, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, no, 2 or 3 live streams in the last week or so. One second here, I'm just reading. Yo, Starhorn 1020, what's up, baby? Rock and roll. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, though, man. Because it's just so stanky and funky and weird. And it's like, but that's going to be the real question is like, I'm going to pop a bunch of them. we're going to pheno hunt a bit. I mean, it's not a real pheno hunt. Like, I mean, for me to do a proper pheno hunt, I need a huge space. I need to pop like 100 of those beans. But we'll do what I'll call a micro or macro pheno hunt. Really what we're looking for is, in my memory on this one, the males, like the good males, developed glands really early. They clustered really early, and they were very stanky, even for males, right? And they even grew trikes on the male plants. It was sexy. So I'm going to be looking for like a stanky dank male, and then I'm going to be looking for one of the dirtiest, both sweet but funky kind of gorilla blue ladies. Gazzers out in New Zealand. He was doing a breeding experiment, bringing that back. So he found, this is right before they got busted, but he had one perfect female that he found, and then he had like 8 or 10 different males, and he basically locked this female plant in a 10 with or with 8 or 10 males. So they were all pollinating this thing, just like super nut, bukkake style. And I was curious to see, what kind of beans this did. I mean, I don't know, but sadly he got busted in the end, and then that did not work out. So it was not a thing, right? But we're going to try to bring it back. We're going to make at least a new fresh batch of these things, you know what I'm saying, and bring it back. And then also in the old bean video, we are going to be tossing out but at least 100 beans on the Schnozberry F2 from Texas Squatch, because we told him the main thing he wanted us to do was to try to get them to pop. And local X1, 100%, straight up, it was. And he's been struggling with the beans he has on hand of this strain to get them to pop again. So he's tried everything. He's like, dude, I've tried everything. I can't get these things to go. Can you please see if you can try with what you have from what I sent you? And I said, sure, happy to do it. Let's see if Uncle Potsquatch's magic can make it work. I don't know. But we're going to try our darndest to get those puppies to pop there. I tell you, we're going to try to get them to go for Texas and go from there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. What's up, Galaxy Solutions LLC? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. If I've missed anyone to say hi, I apologize. Anyway, but so that's going to be kind of the sort of the upcoming week there. What do I need to get to really make this video? Not really much. I'm going to go buy a fresh bottle of hydrogen peroxide. I do have hydrogen peroxide, but I can get a fresh bottle of 3% solution. And then we'll go from there, really. Everything else I have in-house predominantly. One of the things I like to do for trying to pop old beans, for example, is like, having a heating pad that's going to sort of maintain a 22, 23 degree sort of warmth. You're not going to put your beans directly on that, but, build up a thing over the heating pad. It's just trying to maintain that thermal temperature that's going to be the most conducive to having genetic material that is old and lackluster in terms of its age, trying to invigorate it and getting it to go. Pretty much everything else, though, I have. Happy Guy 85, hello, just entered the chat from Ontario, Kitchener, Waterloo. Dude, bro, Happy Guy 85. The hilarious thing is I was just in Kitchener, Waterloo. My mom and my sisters live in Kitchener, Waterloo area. I was literally just there a number of months ago. I'm assuming I'll be back at some point because, you got to visit family, I guess they say, right? So, and, but yeah, no, that's cool. I actually know Kitchener, Waterloo-ish now. Visited a few times since they all moved back there many moons ago. But yeah, hell yeah. Welcome, Kitchener, Waterloo in the house. What's up? There on the, wait, deer on that ground. I feel like I'm saying your name wrong, but what's up? Sorry about that. There's always so many options on some of these creative names that people have these days. But yeah, no, it's going to be fun. We're going to, clean up the tent, grow them up, grow the babies out in a little 2x4. I've still got to build, either build or buy one if I can scratch a few extra pennies together to get the, a new inline fan system for the tent. Yo, what's up, Tony Gilbert 1? How you doing, baby? Welcome to the show. Been a hot minute. Good to see you. I'm doing well. That's the one thing really we don't have. And like I was saying, going forward on our little run here, I'll probably rock the little squatches just to keep, because cramming a double squatch into 2x4, where I pulled it off and did it for a couple of grows, I probably shouldn't do that. So we're going to go back to little squatch as the primary main light source, and then we're going to build like a little side lighting with LED 3500 Kelvin Samsung CFL replacement tubes. They're not CFL. Compact fluorescent is a spiral. It is just a fluorescent lighting tube replacement, but it works pretty good. Tony Gilbert, you need more space, eh? Oh, dude, I need space desperately. So not only do I not have much space, even though this is, yes, technically where we started the channel, but back then, right? Like I was, much younger. I was in my mid to later 20s. And, I wasn't using my closet for clothes or anything normal, like a normal individual. Sorry, I'm just thawing out some ground beef for the dinner I'm going to make after here. I've just got a little bit of water running on it in the sink because I forgot to take it out this morning. And, but all that space is being used. I've got a TV in there. I've got clothes in there now. I've got the stock for the store in there now. I got all those types of things. So, yes, Uncle Potsquatch definitely needs more space, which, again, I am slowly trying to work towards that or figure out a way. Recently, I went to view some float homes that were for sale. And where I could have afforded the float homes themselves, it ended up being just such a stupid waste of time because basically the moorage was going to be like 1,800 with power, and I'm like, dude, that's ridiculous. Like my power bills every 2 months is like maybe 100 to 160 bucks when I'm running like just some basic kit. It was ridiculous, and I was like, screw that. And then I had to pay $15,000 to join the community, and I'm like, I don't want to join the community. I just want a house. Like fuck you guys. Like that's stupid. So, what's a float home? It's basically a house that's built on floating pylons, and that it floats and it's out in either a river or on the ocean or this or that. It's one of the only things that Uncle Potsquatch can afford. The only thing really realistically that I could probably afford if I could come up with a down payment would be like a condo. So like a 2 or 3 bedroom condo. Some of the new built 3-bedroom, like decent sized condos, which is kind of what I would bare minimum need though. But like still, I'd have to go to like Langley or something, which is far. There's like another city. It's part of Greater Vancouver, but like those are probably running $700,000 to $800,000. Plus, then you're gonna, on top of your mortgage, you've got your strata fees, and then I'm sitting here. So I look at other parts of Canada. Like I could go to another part of Canada, and like for like $300,000 to $600,000, I can buy an acreage with a proper house and have room to build and be legally allowed to build at least another freestanding structure. And I'm referencing Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, and their building rules. That's where Big Abe, my best friend from high school, he lives down there, and they just built their house. And I think they're into it. They've got like a giant super house on 1.4 acres of land, and they did all of that. I think they're into it for like maybe $861,000. Tony Gilbert says, haha, that's funny. Langley's where the FBI is, at least here. Yeah, no, different Langley. I mean, Langley's not so bad, really. It's just far, right? Like, it's like, I like living where I live, but sadly, where Uncle Potsquatch's apartment is in the heart of one of the most expensive places in the fucking world to live. It's just sad but true, man. It's sad but true. Like the average 1-bedroom apartment my size in my neighborhood is probably $2,600 to $3,700 a month, which is ridiculous. So I'm honestly contemplating, like, if I were to find a job like the one I have now in another province that would be more affordable, I would be willing to move. Places that are still affordable that I'd be willing to go to. I mean, no offense to the Albertans who may watch this. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Alberta, especially with this weird Maple Mega separatist movement going on there right now. I mean, most of Alberta doesn't think that way, but it's still affordable there. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, they're still affordable, but they get like minus 30, minus 40, minus 50 Celsius in the winter. So it's like, well, I don't know if I want to go that cold, you know what I'm saying? So like the East Coast, though, is doable. So like either New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. Newfoundland, Labrador is probably out just because, I mean, they've got even less infrastructure than the rest of the Maritimes. So realistically, though, maybe New Brunswick or Nova Scotia would be all right. Technically, PEI would be okay. The only drawback about PEI is their medical system isn't great. So not that I ever really need to go to the hospital very often. Last time Uncle Potsquatch had to go to the hospital was like, 2, 3 years ago when I had the whole zombie penis parable, which was a whole hilarious thing. For those of you who've been around for a while, you may or may not remember that. Yeah, so it's hard, but like Uncle Potsquatch will figure out a way. I don't know what that's gonna look like. I don't know where we're gonna end up. But it's like I couldn't even buy a house here in Vancouver for 1.2 million. But I've been looking around Edmonton, which is in Alberta, Alberta in many senses is very much the Texas of Canada. And no offense to Texas, but y'all can understand what I mean about that by that. You know what I mean? Um, but Edmonton would be like Austin in Texas, right? Like it's at least a little bit more open minded and not completely silly. Um, uh, Bro, you got PTSD from that shot B. No, you do. Local X1. What's a shot B? What? I don't understand what you're saying, bud. Local X1, I still don't understand what you're saying, to be fair. What shit though? Oh, the zombie dick shit? Yeah, no. I don't think I got PTSD from it. I definitely it was a weird experience, I'll say that. I don't wish it on anybody, even my worst enemies. I wouldn't wish that on. But things are good now. Things are all good now. But it wasn't fun though. I'll say that. Yeah, definitely the whole zombie penis parable was not enjoyable. It was messed up. But no, I wouldn't say I got PTSD from it. I mean, it definitely changed my perceptions on certain things, maybe, but it definitely changed my relationship with my penis a bit, I guess. Uh, but I mean, shit happens, bro. Or zombie dicks happen, right? But back to what I was saying, though, in terms of pricings, right? You know what I mean? So, hell yeah, stoner dude, you make those bloody brownies, man. Yeah, local X1. I'm pretty sure I was like the first one. Like they'd never seen it before. I made medical history with that one. That was a new one. They'd never seen it before. I became like the show and tell pet for all the doctors and student doctors. But let's get back to pricing though, and talking about Uncle Potsquatch eventually slowly trying to find a way forward to have more space so we can, kind of do bigger grows and start breeding again and doing some other stuff for the channel and just have a little bit more space to make things work. But like, so I couldn't even buy a house in Vancouver for $1.2 million. But if I go to Edmonton, I can buy a brand new building with like 14 or 16 apartments in it, plus CRUs on the ground level, generating $370,000 gross annual income a year from the building, right? So it's like part of me is kind of like, well, get a down payment together, buy something like that, bite the bullet, move to Alberta or some shit, but then make money, don't need the day job, run that building for your day job, make that money, pay yourself a salary out of your company, and then just take the biggest, sexiest apartment that's there for yourself and go live in that at the top of the building. So, like, honestly, I'm genuinely thinking about that. It is something I'm aware of, and lending for a business investment like that is easier to do than a normal mortgage, and it requires less, especially with the high grossing potential of annual general income or gross income annually. So that could be an option. Buying a whole building where you got apartments and you're a landlord and stuff. I mean, that's a whole different kit and caboodle now. But I do that for work already, right? Like I run 7 giant buildings. Probably my White Rock building. I've got well over 200 residents there, close to 200 suites in that building. All of my buildings have at least about a buck 40 suites, buck 30, buck 40. And some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. But I mean, so I'm used to that shit, right? Like I can do that. Like that's what I do all day. And oh, dude, Tony Gilbert, I would totally agree with you on in terms of being careful with new construction. Everything sucks. So timber sucks now, parts suck now, but I will say though that everything's under warranty on a new construction build, and before I buy it, I'm gonna go through it like an asshole with all my boys, and everything will be done properly, and we make sure it's done proper. And then, everything again is under warranty, right? So, um, it's doable. Like, given what I do for work, right? And like, for example, my White Rock building is about 6 years old now. She was a death trap when she was first built. Like, I mean, dude, we had a giant rupture leak. We had a giant leak happen because they didn't connect 6 or 8 showers into the drainage piping, and then that flooded out the whole building. The whole ceiling of the first floor came down. It was like millions and millions of dollars worth of an insurance claim. It was silly. But I agree with you, though. You got to be careful on new construction. But at the end of the day, um, you know, I have the skill sets and the tools to deal with it. So it's a way forward. What's up, Troy Shepard? Good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the show. Local X1, do you still got the Cadillac? Yep, 2022 CT4 350 turbo, completely rebuilt engine. Cost me $44,000 on the rebuild. Well, it cost me my deductible, and then the insurance paid for the rest of it. But I got brake checked by a Jeep and destroyed the front end of it. But it's all rebuilt now. I've probably put 17,000 kilometers on her since the rebuild. Beauty car, loving it. I just wanted the car to match my CAC. Both are rebuilt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, she's good. Batty the Caddy 2.0 is rocking well. Dude, I can get from Vancouver to Kelowna on half a tank of gas. This thing is built for highway driving, and it's so fuel efficient. So fuel efficient. Thecking WD1FF. How much money will it cost to modify and buy a Mazda RX-8? Couldn't tell you. I'd have to look up on what going rates on a Mazda RX-8 are. I'm not a Mazda guy. I do Cadillacs. I do old school muscle cars, and that's kind of more my happy place. I also know fixing Mercedes really well these days because of my job, but I couldn't tell you. But everything's going to cost money, and it depends on when you say modify. What does that mean to you, right? Like, are we doing an engine swap? Are we building in NOS? We turboing it? We changing everything. Depends on also the state of the vehicle. How's the electrical? How's everything else? Is the frame good? Like, are we, or like, it all depends. That's a loaded question. And it's also a car I don't know a lot about. So, but I'll put it to you this way. Buying and modifying any car to the level of what I think you're talking about is tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands of dollars. So I found a secondhand Mazda MX-8, which I believe means an RX-8 for $13,000. Okay, what's the odometer at on that? What's the odometer at? And also make sure you take that to your mechanic though and get it checked out. It is worth the $300 to have a qualified mechanic go through that thing, stem to stern on that shit. Be careful what you get into, bud. Well, details are key, especially when it comes to these types of things. But hey, I mean, it's worth checking out, man. But if something is shockingly underpriced, there's usually a reason for that. And if there's one thing Uncle Potsquatch has learned from love, life, house purchases, business deals, hypothetical business deals, if something seems too good to be true, 9 times out of 10, it usually is. Dude, hell yeah. Dude, goalie fight. I dig it. So Tony Gilbert, it means in hockey where the goalies go and fight each other. It's very rare. Rarely happens. They're on opposite sides of the ice. But so the two goalies leave their crease and go fight each other. It's very rare, but it's awesome when it happens. Daniel Andrassi says, "Hey, brother Squatch, I'm sorry I'm late for class. It's all good, man. We don't keep tardies here at Potsquatch Growers." Yeah. But yeah, so we'll find a way to get more space eventually. But we're gonna we'll get the tent fired up, and we're gonna be doing some fun little things. And the good thing is at least we could do a lot of the videos of the how-to or educational videos still without a lot of space, right? Like building stuff or doing that. So I think going forward, that'll be a big part of sort of, what we can do, at least for now, on the channel, which will be interesting for people. And so I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be good. Yeah, it's funny. I said to my dad, because he lives in his wife's house, and so her mother just passed away. He was like 102. So they've got this big house, tons of room. The dead mom, I guess she would be my step grandmother. Her room's just sitting there. So I made a joke to my dad. I was like, hey, you should ask your wife, can I go grow dope in her dead mom's room? My dad made a joke back. He goes, yeah, if I went and asked her that, I'd probably be divorced for a third time. I was like, okay, maybe we don't ask Paulina that. I'm not a Nissan guy either, so I don't have a lot of input on that one. I live in a sheltered life of what I like. But yeah, no, I thought that was pretty funny when my dad was like, yeah, we do that, I'll probably be divorced again. I was like, okay, fine. I won't cost you a marriage, Dad. But I still think you guys should let me grow dope in the dead woman's room. And then my buddy who lives in this building, like he's got a 3-bedroom apartment and his kids are moving out. And I was like, oh, fuck, man. Like, I'll give you a bit of money there. You should let me grow dope in one of their bedrooms. But because he's got kids leaving and it's a fucking, a lot of the building is BC housing subsidized for people who are disabled. My buddy's in a wheelchair. And they're kicking him out of the apartment now because his kids are moving out. So he's got to move into 1 bedroom. I was like, fuck, there goes my plan. Damn it. The King WD1FF. No, it's easy for me to get a Nissan because I live in Bangladesh, but guess the tax of cars here is like fucking 300%. Dude, that's dumb. That's a very high percentage point. Like, so on the purchase of a vehicle, they're going to tax you 300% of the value of the vehicle based off what I would call like the blue book here. We base our things off of blue book value, not market. That's ridiculously high. My guess, though, would be they're probably doing that because do you guys have like really bad smog and air quality in Bangladesh? Maybe that's the reason. Well, note to self, don't go to Bangladesh and buy a car. I'm not going to Bangladesh to buy a car. The blue book's not so bad, really. Market's higher than blue book most of the time anyway. But yeah, it's relative, really. And I mean, at the end of the day, whether it's cars, whether it's weed, whether it's equipment, anything is worth whatever someone's willing to pay for, right? There's good sellers out there, and then there's shady sellers. There's people with ethics, morals, and integrity. And then there's assholes who don't have that, right? So you can't get a bike over 500cc? Okay, so everybody's riding a moped. Now, I mean, I guess that makes sense in one sense. I mean, if you've got way too many cars on the road, it's a good deterrent, that's for sure. I'm not buying a car in Bangladesh with pricing like that. Yeah, interesting. I learned something today. Maddie S said 5MZ. I prefer the New Testament. It's a little easier to read than the Old Testament, I'll give you that, but it's still a fictitious story about it. Not that I'm saying that people can't believe in it. You're welcome to. I'm the son of 2 priests. Grew up in the church. I can't buy into the concept that somehow a childlike ape-like species that still kills itself and kills its planet and doesn't know how to get along will, in fact, somehow come up with the concept of what God is. That just doesn't make sense. Plus, we're in a minor galaxy on the edge of it in a pretty basic solar system, really, other than the fact that we're kind of, able to have a life. So I just don't buy that. But that's for me. I will defend everyone's right to be Christian or Muslim or Jewish or a Rastafari or whatever religion you're into. If it makes you happy and you're not hurting anybody, I don't care. I'm allowed to have my opinion. You're allowed to have yours. And the thing is, we don't even have to fight about it. We can get along, go to dinner. It's still okay. The world would do well if they could learn that. Nims39, what's up, Potsquatch? How's the growing going? Also, have you looked into flat Earth? I'm aware of flat Earthers. I also know for a fact that that is bullshit. Yes, I'm aware of the flat Earth people. I'll put it to you this way: when Uncle Potsquatch's having a hard day and he needs a good laugh, he goes and he reads some of those subreddits there of the flat earthers thinking they know science. So yeah, no, I'm aware of the flat Earth movement, and it's pretty entertaining to me. Um, I'm not trying to be mean to people. If you want to think things, you can think things, but sometimes you're just wrong. um, but yeah, no, sorry, man. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. What's up, Kello Mitty? How you doing, my friend? Um, the growing will be starting this week. Basically, we're going to be doing a new video of popping old beans, going over different techniques and how we can try to maximize invigorating older genetics that may or may not have been stored properly. But no, it's not currently going, but we're gearing up, right? Like we've done 3 live streams basically in the last week. I'm forcing myself to try to get back into the swing of it, back into the feel of being a Potsquatch, even though, I'm older now. I'm different a little bit. I'm still the same asshole, but you grow up a bit and you're like, okay, well, we can't do 10 to 30 beers in a show anymore. You don't have any room anymore. World's a lot more expensive now. But there's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And so we're going to get things going for sure. I'm looking forward to it. What's up, Piff? What's crack lagging? Well, local X1, totally. I've got so many old beans in my collection. Like, I mean, let's talk about some of the oldest things in my collection. I've got a rare golden indica that's probably at least 15 or 50 years old from the Oahu Islands of Hawaii. I've only got like 5 or 6 of those too in my collection, but that would be cool to try to pop. I've got a lot of other really old school stuff. So it'll be a fun video though to make and to see what our success rates can be. Plus, also too, it's a good video because we made a promise to Texas Squatch that we're gonna try to pop all of his old beans. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Kelomiti, I was a watcher years ago. Glad to see you back in action. Well, thank you, Kelomiti. I mean, it's been a hot minute. But yeah, no, we're trying to get things going back again. I've never left. I was just on an emotional sabbatical and healing after things hit the fan. Let's go with that. But I'm feeling good now. Tony Gilbert, how do you keep seeds that long? So, okay, the number one thing about keeping seeds is keep them out of light, keep them in a sealed container. And, a lot of guys will freeze their seeds, and that's cool, and you can do that. But the real trick to long-term seed storage is not having temperature deviations, okay? We don't want that temperature fluctuating on our beans. So, for example, there have been seeds that were sealed and preserved so perfectly in canopic jars in Egypt for thousands of years that, in fact, germinated, right? So it is possible to store seed properly and have a certain level of viability still present. But we got to watch those temperature fluctuations, okay? I don't actually remember off the top of my head what most Egyptian crypts temperature is. I feel like there's a number in my brain, but I don't know if it's right. It's like 16 to 19 degrees Celsius maybe or something like that. Hey, if anyone can Google that, I'm curious too. But like it's about avoiding light, avoiding this, that, keep them just as they are, let them set, and don't have that fluctuation of temperature, and it'll be a hell of a lot safer for trying to keep those things alive for a long time. Calamity, tissue culture them old beans. Well, I mean, I've never seen anyone successfully tissue culture a seed. If you can get one of them to go and doing a tissue culture from that way, that's a great way to doing it. Also, tissue cultures are a great way to remove pathogenic overload in terms of genetics, so it's lost its lust or its vigor for life. Through a tissue culture, you can actually remove any pathogenic buildup that's actually changed the reality of the genetics. So it's a great, cloning technique in that regard. But yeah, Starham 1020 fire plant smoke. I like. But it's like it's all doable, right? And there's lots of little tricks, and it's just like and that's one of the things I liked over the years doing in different videos was like I liked having fun doing things that is hard to do or doing things that people told me that I couldn't do or you can't do. Trying to break the rules, trying to bend the rules, trying to defy what is a common accepted thing that, oh, you just can't do that. I'm like, all right, well, watch me. Right. So that was one of the fun things. Nims 39, are you using one of those fancy seed germinating thingamajigs? Nah, never used a fancy thingamajig. Probably the fanciest thing I would do is maybe using an air stone on an air pump to keep the water bubbling. One of the things I'd like to try if I can get my hands on a decent version of the product, I've never tried it, I've heard about it for years, is different enzymatic products that you can utilize in terms of your popping of the bean that are supposed to invigorate older genetics. I've heard that that's a thing, but honestly, I don't know if it still is or ever was. But it's been a thing talked about, and I've read about and seen out and about over the years a bunch. So I'd like to try to get my hands on some and see if it actually is legit or it could be bullshit. I don't know. That was one of the fun things I liked doing over the years too on the channel was like trying out shit and just being honest with people about my humble 2 cents. As a professional, do I think this is legit or do I think it's full of shit? I mean, and again, that's still my opinion, right? But Calamity says, show the kids how to static sift old school style. Definitely could do that. Oh, it's been a hot minute since I've done some proper screens fucking, skiff there. But we could do that, though, too. Honestly, though, I will be doing a big batch of hash because I've got so much stuff that I've had in storage and aging and ready to go, and I'm kind of curious. Plus, I just need to get rid of all of it and turn it into something. Some of it might be not tasty in terms of its age, so then I'll just turn it into an oil and use it in a medical product or some cooking. But I'm going to stick with what I know it works, which is kind of what I call the old school, temple ball, which is where I'm going to run it through my bubble bags. I'm going to sort of finish it, Frenchy cannoli style, right? Okay, so temperatures inside old Egyptian tombs and pyramids are surprisingly stable, typically maintaining a cool, constant temperature around 20 degrees. So I was pretty fucking close in my memory on that number. All right. Outside is a blistering 45 plus Celsius. Yeah, no, very hot. But I was pretty close to what I remembered. But yeah, the trick to preserving and storing old beans though is you got to keep that temperature stable, man. Nims 39 says, I think it would be worth trying those seed germinating things for them old beans. Do you mean like an enzymatic product, or are you referencing something that I haven't even heard about? Can you give me a bit more information, Nims 39, of what you speak? Well, I've got my rosin press right behind my TV right there. I like rosin too, but like I don't dab though, right? So when I make rosins, like I'm coating my papers with rosin, kind of like an old school oil duber. But I love hash. I actually would say it's probably safe to say that I like hash more than I like flour. Doesn't mean I don't love flour. Love flour very much, especially if it's something that I like. But probably one of my favorite things in the world, and I could smoke it all day and just feel great, is hash. I love proper old school hash. Yeah, so Tony Gilbert, like the thing is like that's where, like, for example, if you look at like the seed vaults for the end of the world, I think they built one. I want to say it was like there's one in the Arctic, or not the Arctic. I don't know. They've built a couple of them around the world. I feel like one was a Nordic country. I can't quite remember though. But like, yeah, the whole design of these buildings though to keep seeds for like if there's an end of the world apocalypse or cataclysmic event, like they're designed to withstand all these types of things and to maintain temperature, to maintain the genetic integrity of these things, right? So it's pretty nifty. Norway, thank you. Yeah, that sounds like something the Norwegians would do. I was going to say Iceland, but again, the main thing I remembered was a Nordic country of one of them. So yeah, so Kello Midi, I mean, that takes me back to like, Weezer back in the day. I got my hash pipe, just smoking hash in a pipe was really nice. I like hash in a water bong. I like, because I still smoke a little bit of tobacco here or there. So, like, my first real huge introduction to like heavy hashish usage was when I was in my teens over in Europe and smoking like hash spliffs was just so good. Big shout out to my boy Philip. He's pretty famous in the world of drum and bass and electric music these days. So if you go Google Multiplex MC, he's a Dutch guy. He normally has a big orange beard with a funny mustache. He smokes a shitload of weed. Flies all over Europe, doing big shows all over the place. Like me and him were homies when we were like 14 or 15. I think we were 15, maybe 16 when we met. We met in France at a religious pilgrimage place called Teze. Um, Actually, it was funny. So like he had a guitar, so I was jamming on the guitar and he was singing, and he's like, "Oh man, you're pretty good on the guitar." And I was like, "Oh bro, you should hear me, play when I'm stoned." And he's like, "Okay, let's go." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And he was Dutch, obviously, so he had all this hash that he brought with him, and that trip was a good trip. I was buying a lot of hash. They called it drawer in the UK when I was over there for like 6 weeks, and like. So smoked a lot of hash back then, back in the hood days of that trip over in Europe for a number of months, and it was great. I just fell in love with it, man. And that's where I've spent my life trying to recreate the hashes I remember from my earlier years, and I've pretty much got there. Like the hashes I'm making now, I truly enjoy. And when I occasionally do it and I age it and I do my thing and I let people try it that are like old school peeps, they're like, dude, that is some serious fucking hash brick. That's insane. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, Tony Gilbert. As sacrilegious as it may sound or feel, I kind I like tobacco in my shit occasionally. Like most of the time, 85, 90% of the time, I'm smoking straight flower. But I do still semi frequently put tobacco in occasionally because sometimes I just want to spliff. I just want to remember those days when I was a teen over in Europe and shit. Um, Plus, I got a lot of English buddies here, so like when we're hanging out and shit like that, like I'll roll it because I want them to feel comfortable consuming when they're at my crib and smoking. So like, and they get very touched by it too. They're like, "Oh mate, you rolled a spliff. Thank you, so sweet." So like, I'm easygoing, and like I said, I still smoke a bit of tobacco here or there, right? So like, I'm not too worried about it. One thing I don't get, and I think what did we call it back then? I feel like we called it maybe poppers or something like that. My first wife, God rest her, she's passed away. She was German, loved her weed, but she was hardcore, man. She would smoke weed in a bong with tobacco, and in my memory, we called that poppers. I was never a fan of that. But man, like she was insane. Like she would just smoke this shit all day. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, babe, this cannot be good for you. Like she was not a very large woman. She was quite tiny. Actually, I got her book here somewhere and she has a picture on the front of that. I don't have a lot of pictures of my first wife, sadly. Um, but her book is here somewhere. But when I show you her, you'll see how tiny she was. And it's like, so the way she would hit these giant bongs. And I'm like, you're gonna kill yourself, woman. Like it was so savage. Here we go. Here we go. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this very well. Focus. That's my first wife. Her name was, her pen name was Jane J. Riley, but her actual name was Lisa Helma Wittmann. She was from Bavaria. But as you can see, she was not a very large woman. She was very petite and very tiny. And that tiny little woman would hit like a 2-3 foot bang all day with tobacco in her weed. And I was just like, oh, like, don't get me wrong. Once in a blue moon, I'd maybe join her. And like I said, like, I don't mind a spliff, especially if I'm in Europe, when in Rome, right? But it's like, yeah, like, it's just the way she would hit weed blew my mind. And I'm like, girl, you're going to like kill yourself one of these days. Like, no, that's a bad joke. Because as far as I'm told, she did kill herself. I've still got to fly to Germany because I'm still legally married to her, actually. So I got to fly to Germany and figure all that stuff out because I'm technically the legal next of kin. And they had no right to legally bury her without my consent. And I found out months after she died. We don't need to go down that road. That's all sad stuff. But I said it. I make dark jokes. I'm like, but she did. At least that's what I'm told. I don't buy into it. I feel like she didn't. I feel like there's something else going on there and something weird and shady happened. But I got to fly over there to figure that out. Yeah. So Calamity, not only that, but like what I do now, which is where I make my bubble. And dude, that's so sad. I'm super sorry, Happy Guy 85, about that. That's shit. Um, I was told that she killed herself, so I don't think it was something like that. So who knows? But I'm really sorry about your friend dying that way. And then to respond to Kello Midi, dude, yeah, dry sift is definitely going to give you some great flavors and that. What I like to do though is I use my bubble bag. So I use the mixing bag, the next largest micron screen, and then the bottom screen, and then everything from that bottom screen. I take that out, I dry that, and then I'm gonna Frenchy cannoli shit. So I'm gonna like roll it up, hot water in a glass jar, boiling water, and repeat that process till I get it to the consistency and color and smell that I want. Sometimes after that, I'm going to wrap it up. Maybe I'll bake it sometimes, right? Other times, I'll just take that, I'll wrap it up and seal it and tuck it away, and I'll only let it breathe once a month. So I'll break it down once a month, and then after that, I just let it sit. I don't even break it anymore. I just let it hang out. Um, One of the tastiest hashes I ever made was made from a Hindu Kush, and then I let it sit for 2 years after doing breathabilities. And then it was an inadvertent let it sit for 2 years, but because of the whole separation thing, and I didn't have any of my stuff for like over a year. But then I got all that back, and I found a huge stash of that in my stuff that was sent to me, and I was like, oh. And then I broke it open. I was like, oh, you become different and dirty, yo. Oh, it was so good. So I want to recreate that. This time, do it on purpose. See, that one stuff, I feel you. But like, see, for me, like, I'm not like when I was younger, I smoked so much weed. I don't smoke tons anymore. Like I smoke every day, but it's different now. And so for me, like taking the time, the artisanship of like proper making hash or different rosins, aging things, tempering things, um, it is the next level. And that's what I really want, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I like getting baked and I like smoking this or that, but like that's really where I think my career wants to go. Other than like breeding cannabis and developing strains for the future, like I want to start making a hash library of different aging techniques and keep experimenting with my hash production and my aging and my tempering on things. That's really where I want to go with things. Just as a personal thing to do, right? Like, and then, 10 years from now, you come to Uncle Potsquatch's house and it's like, oh, let me take you to the hash library. You know what I'm saying? Oh, dude, hell yeah. Well, like, I mean, Calamity, I mean, you're still not going to get huge returns off of hash off a seed crop, but it's definitely something you can do with the seed crop. I mean, typically with like seed crop extras, like the whatever I have left after I've harvested my seed, a lot of the time, I don't find the returns for the work high enough on making hash out of that. So typically, I just will soak that and then make it into an oil. But no, hell yeah. Well, remember, Kyle XYZ420, terpenes, in fact, are solvents. That's why if you overdry your cannabis, they do evaporate and leave. So they are a solvent in general. Terpenes are a solvent. But like if you got a really terpy weed, though, and then you get those resin glands with that stall present, and then you properly process, mold it, temper it, and then you let that seal and then age in itself, oh, it becomes different. It becomes this dirty, dirty, beautiful, sexy thing. Um, yeah. I love some crazy old school, like properly aged hash and shit. Drives me wild. Oh, he did a dry sift. Oh, okay. That makes more sense, Killamity. My only issue with dry sifting is that typically there's going to be a lot of plant material in it, which, yes, like if we're going back to the old school Durham, that, you know, hashish and hand rubbed hash, like it had tons of plant material in it too. And that's a big part of the flavor. But that's where I like doing this bubble version and then finishing it like a Frenchy cannoli style finish, because I'm getting that old school flavor and taste with removing all of that, or almost all of that plant material. So really, at the end of the day, I'm achieving all the flavors and tastes that I want with actually having a higher quality of smoke with a higher cannabinoid breakdown as well, too. Sorry, everybody. Live stream during live stream. Diuretics, yo, it's a thing. The Canacon. Yo, Troy, if you're still there, can you write that down for me? I've got a pen here. Never mind, I can write it down. Live stream during the live streams. What's up, old Dutch master? Fuck, it's been a hot minute. Good to see you, bud. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna see what you're talking about. Fuck, the pen doesn't work. There we go. Canacon. There we go. It's written on my arm now. Never gets old. Best been on YouTube. Well, thank you very much. Now, I was going to say last week's show. It was just a couple days ago. I really liked the last live stream we did. I felt very Potsquatchian in terms of how it went, and it was a good show. I'm feeling good about this show, too, obviously. It's good to hang out with all of you again and just sort of get back to the grassroots of things, right? I mean, really getting back to the grassroots, no pun intended, will be when we start growing dope again. And not even just doing the update videos. It's like making the how-to and the educational videos. Like those were almost always our highest viewed videos that got the most interaction and I think made us really what we were. Come here, Mog. Come here. Come say hi. You can come say hi. He's all like, pay attention to me, Dad. Come here, bud. Come here. Come here. It's okay. Come here. Come here. Come sit with Papa. We'll go over there, but I'm sitting here, bud. And there's Betty. There's Betty. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, sweetie. Oh, yes. They're sweet puppies. They're still around, obviously. Yes. Use my babies. Yes, my babies. But yeah, I'll look that thing up, NIMS39. I'm curious to see what it is. If it doesn't cost $1 billion, maybe I can try to get one here quick enough for us to make the video. But we'll see. I don't know. But I think that's also going to be the fastest, easiest way for us to kind of be relevant and get the channel growing again in terms of numbers and fighting the YouTube algorithm is making the educational videos, right? Because the live streams are great. I like them. Those who tune in for them like them, you know what I mean? Because we all hang out. It's a good, fun community building thing. But what gave us traction, what led us to blowing up before YouTube fucked us, was the educational videos. And yes, obviously the grow update videos too. But like that's what made us. Like most of our high viewed videos for the most part are that. Or the occasional weird, crazy update video that we did. And people were just like, what? Um, oh yeah, Kyle XYZ 420. I remember that one too. We did that at Lab 2, and it was about manipulating the plant psychology in terms of thinking it's built up and different ways of doing that. Because at the end of the day, if the plant feels like it's having to focus to hold its branches or weed titties up, it's not going to be putting all of its energy into producing weed titties. But if it feels like it doesn't have to work to hold itself up, then it's going to be focusing on making those big old weed titties. You know what I'm saying? Or as we used to say earlier in the channel's history, is that donkey penises. In order to have proper donkey penis buds, though, you got to have a genetic with some nice tight internodal spacing. That's quintessential to make that work. Oh, what was it? The donkey penis bud that we first said that on a channel or on the channel years ago. I think that was Platinum Cookies crossed by God Bud. That was the first donkey penis reference. Was the Platinum Cookies God Bud. No, totally, right? Like, and I mean, Kyle, like, I mean, I think that's I think that was always one of our strong suits, though, too, was like, because like a lot of other grow channels out there, they're kind of elitist or they're kind of dicks or like they teach a one way only to do things, which is just wrong. Anyone who thinks that way is just a moron. The Grow Boss was like that, and then he was bullying people. Like, and it's just like, that's not how you teach. And like, and that's where like, I'm not going to go out of my way to be arrogant about shit, but like, unless they're a bully, then I will purposely fuck up their day. 100%. Because I'll go toe to toe with anyone. I don't give a fuck. And I'll probably win. And I'll stand by that. But I don't feel the need to flex that way unless someone's like a dick or a bully to people or being mean to people. And I'm like, fuck off. Everyone's got to learn somewhere. Everyone's got to start somewhere. Do you know how hard it is? Like when I was a kid, it was hard enough for me to fucking learn things. With all the misinformation back then. And that was back then. Look at how much misinformation's on the internet now. And all the, misconceived notions of a lot of growers and being bullies and elitist dicks and this or that and mixing in other crap and this or that. Like, one, there's 1,001 highways to the same destination. Okay. There's a lot of ways to do things. And every person's growing ability or style, or even, I'd say even like almost in a holistic sense, like their energy, the vibe they give off to their plants. There's going to be certain styles or approaches that work better for you as a person to produce better cannabis. Where like, just because it works better for you doesn't mean that's what's going to work best for me. Right. And like, I could try to do what you do, but my plants won't be as good. But if I do what I do, my plants will be better. Right. And vice versa. And like, that's the way to teach. You know what I mean? That's the way to help people feel safe. And also too, like, there is no such thing as a stupid question. There is no such thing. Or there's no reason for anyone to feel abashed about themselves or nervous or shy about asking questions. If you don't know something, then just ask. It's okay. Like, at least at this channel, that is completely okay. Ask away, baby. I will fucking share my humble 2 cents on it. Because, like, I was a self-taught grower. I didn't come from a weed growing family. I came from, the son of 2 priests. The first time I got caught for weed, which is kind of funny because my parents found 14 pounds underneath my bedspread. Of course, Uncle Potsquatch has his first time getting caught weed is a stupid story like that. I thought my parents would respect my space. Oh, fuck. How old was I back then? I must have been like 15 or 16 when I got caught for that. And so I had a really good deal. It was just like a single A, but I got a really good deal. So I bought 50 pounds of it. And then I sold 35 pounds to cover the cost of the initial acquisition. And then I got 15 pounds of weed for free. So I was like, hey, 15 pounds of weed for free. And then I had that in my bedroom and I put it underneath my bedspread. I'm like, Mom, my parents will never fucking come into my room. They never come in my room. I was 15. I was dumb. And they came in my room. And I was told marijuana was the devil the first time I got caught for weed. And yeah, it was funny. My parents both own percentages of my company now and fully accept and understand the world of weed now. But back then, it was a different thing, right? But like, I didn't have anyone to show me anything, right? Like, I had the internet in its early days of weed knowledge, and I had High Times magazines, and I had a willingness to fuck around and find out. I had a willingness to experiment or try to learn and see what worked and what didn't. So like a lot of my lessons came from reading and then trying it out for myself, and that's what I share with people. And then I think about the world now and like how much harder it must be for a young person or an old person who's new to it, but like you're young in that you're new to weed. Um, where do you fucking begin, right? And I mean, like I said, 1,001 highways to the same destination, but also probably 1,001 ways to start. But the least I can do as the Potsquatch is offer a safe place to try to help people get excited, to learn that love of growing, and to feel a safe place where they can fuck around and find out. You know what I mean? Like, you know? Okay, wait. Let me read shit here. Bear with me here. Yeah, no, definitely piff. A lot of bad energy. Um, oh, Kelomini, I can teach that though. I'm a cancer survivor, right? Like I've been a legally licensed medical producer for, let me do math. Fuck, I'm old now. No, almost 20 years in Canada. I've been a licensed medical producer for almost 20 years in Canada now. I'm getting old, people. But yeah, no, I'd be happy to talk about that. I just got to be careful about certain types of videos because like YouTube gets mad at me for weird things. But I'd be down. Killamity says I just walk around using topicals, and it's shocking how many folks want to and have no idea how. Oh, totally. Happy guy 85 says I ruined a lot of crows from listening to magazines back in the day. See, honestly, I had a really successful start from reading magazines back in the day. I took everything with a grain of salt, and I also wasn't an idiot, right? Like, and I read a lot, and I grew up growing plants like other plants, right? So maybe that's what allowed me to like not get totally fucked by magazines. Like, I took everything with a grain of salt and like took the big picture and absorbed a lot of different people's takes on things. And then I went with what seemed to make sense with me. And not that I was always right, but at the risk of sounding arrogant, I usually was. And my natural inkling on things usually worked out fairly well. And that's where I started making a name for myself in Van City and in BC back in the day. Was I was this young kid on the scene who came out of nowhere and was able to do things that people have been doing it a lot longer than I had couldn't, right? So one second here, I'm just reading. Kyle XYZ 420. Even the equipment used can be too much for some to understand. I feel like doing the series with tent lights, etc. that can be ordered from Amazon would pique interest. I totally agree, Kyle. If I had the money, Kyle, to do it, like I would love if I had a budget to my show. If we had money. If I wasn't a broke ass, well, I'm not broke ass. Well, I live paycheck to paycheck, but I'm surviving, you know? But if I had a budget to the show, I would love to order everything that's available right now and run separate side by side grows with all of that and compare that for people. That would be a great amount, a bunch of videos. There's a lot of videos I'd love to make. I just don't have any money, right? So that's part of the problem. I love it. Get caught for weed, get sent to military school, but then everyone at military school had weed. That is pretty funny, actually, Tony Gilbert. I like that. I find that very amusing. Um, Kyle XYZ 420 legalization in Canada killed much of the home grow market. Yeah, there's still OGs doing it, but with the ease of access, why would any new user need to grow their own? Um, to be fair though, I mean, I grew up in BC, so it's like the ease of access has always been there. It's never been hard to find marijuana where I live. It's Vancouver, but I wouldn't say. I'd almost argue that legalization has opened up a hypothetical opportunity to actually have the homegrown market explode in coming years. What do I mean by that? Well, one, government weed predominantly sucks, right? So you got a lot of people who are new to weed and they try government weed, right? And then they hang out with me and then they try real weed and they're like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you can do that too. So it's it's just everything evolves. It has its sort of cycles, I think, right? So I'd say there's potential. No, totally, Kyle. Reduction of consumption costs is huge for sure. Like, you really shouldn't have to pay much money to have good weed if you got a basic kit and an understanding of what you're doing. One second here, I'm just reading. Happy Guy 85. What size of side by side tents would I be looking for? I mean, if I had space, I mean, if I were to do honestly, like if I were to compare like a bunch of side by sides, so we're talking tents, systems, this, that, and we're gonna use all the same basic shit, same clone, same other plant, to do a comparison thing. I'd prob if I had a lot of space, a 4x4 of each would be great, but maybe a 2x4 would be better. But you know, but we could also do a lot of different versions of that too, though, right? Like, dude, you can still buy a gold seal now from a number of different countries. It's still available here if you know who to talk to. Totally, Calamity. Well, like MacGyver growing is how I got my start. Like that, like the first lights, the first anything I ever did was me cannibalizing parts out of something or climbing up a lamppost and taking the 250-watt HPS bulb out. Oh, to be young and stupid again. Now I'm just old and stupid. I mean, the problem, Nims, is Mars Hydro. I mean, they may not remember me. I mean, I launched my grow light in response to them and caused a huge stink with Mars Hydro back in the day, for those of you who may remember those days. But then again, they may not remember me now. Like, I mean, fuck, man, knowing how China works and shit like that, like probably all the CEOs have been fired and imprisoned or killed. Just like the PLA military, all the OG guys are all gone too. Xi Jinping has taken them out too. So you never know. They may not remember me anymore. It'd be worth a while. I mean, the thing is our views aren't that high, but I think if I can make some educational videos and get some good numbers on some of them, which isn't that hard to do if I think of the right video or two to do, get us some traction and awareness again and get our growth numbers up again. Like, we're a decent size. We're like, almost 29,000 subs, almost 4 million views. We could get hypothetically some stuff coming in. Again, we run into the same problem is like I don't have a lot of space. But since I'm not a lighting brand anymore, I don't think. Like, I haven't seen Brett. Their website doesn't have my lights on it anymore. So, and he and I haven't spoken in years, which is fine. I wish you well, Brett. I'm going to make a better light anyway. I can totally entertain different lighting brands and different things and this and that. And as someone who owned a lighting brand and developed lights at one point, I think it'd be a really interesting educational thing. So I think it could be fun. The problem is, like I said, though, don't have a lot of room here, man. Like, I need more room. But I agree, though.
Guys, stop. Puppies.
I'm sorry. I find this amusing. Hey, stop fronting on other dogs. Hey, Betty. They're fronting on another dog. They're barking at each other. Hey, stop it. Stop it, Betty. Be the bigger dog. Stop. It's okay. That dog's a moron. Ignore it. Sorry, everybody. I just find that amusing. Oh, dude, like, I mean, I've never really had a lot of money ever, right? Like, well, there was times where I was a hustler and stuff, and I was making money and running grows and making good money back then. But like, guys, stop. That's enough now. But yeah, no, I definitely think it would be a thing. And that's where my origin story is. Like I was the guy who had no money and would figure things out and would do things and then would come into like these big fancy grows with people who have like decades of experience and they'd be bringing me in to fix their problems, right? So I possess the ability, the knowledge and the creativity to do something like that. So yeah, I think we're on to something here. I think we're on to the right line of thought or school of thought when it comes to that for show. It's so funny though. I'm like looking at the clock. It's like 7:40 p.m. I'm like, oh my god, it's getting late. Wow, how times have changed. I used to like not start the show till like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and we'd go for like 2 or 3 hours, and I drink 10 or 20 beers, and I'd be like, but I was working bartending back then. I was working nights, right? So it was a different world. I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning, depending on the day or which one of my buildings I'm going to. It's so weird how things change, everybody. I guess everybody eventually needs to grow up a bit. I've also got a feeling that this is not going to go away. But everybody, come on, second. Hi. Betty, come here. Be a good girl. Be a good girl, Betty. Stop. I mean, that would be a possibility too, but like a lot of people do that here, and it's like it's. I would be very upset if someone tried to gank my shit, though, right? That's why I was never really an indoor or outdoor grower. I've always been an indoor grower because I don't like people ganking my shit. You break into my house, well, you got to deal with me, right? So, but anyway, you've given me a lot of food for thought, my friends. Now I must go actually make food because I'm hungry and I don't stay up that late anymore. And it's still, well, it's actually too late for me to eat, but I'm going to eat anyway because I've got to feed it. You know what I'm saying? Noise canceling earbuds, my guy. I got $400 AirPods that noise cancel and stuff, but I prefer not doing that. I don't like having AirPods in for the show. It's just weird. But here, just to humor you. Just to humor you. And also, I thought that was just noise canceling for my perception. Does it cancel things for you guys on the end of the other end of the show? Let's find out. Let's find out what happens. I actually have no idea to know if this is working or not. Can I go into that's chat settings? Okay, they're barking now. Has this changed anything for you? Or not really? Has this changed anything for you? But what about this? Like for example, does this change their sounds or not really? It actually has? Okay, but you can still hear them a bit, but it is better though. Okay. All right. So if it does reduce them, then okay. Then I will get over being a princess and not wanting to wear these AirPods, and I will do it for the show. Kind of reminds me of actually back in the day when I played rugby and like you wear a scrum cap, and I felt like the scrum cap threw my game off. But if this helps y'all, then I will get over it and I will start using these things for the shows then. Look, I learned another thing today. I can use my AirPods for other things. Well, my friends, my family, I got to go make dinner now. But we'll have another live stream. The next live stream show is going to be Friday during the day, probably at like noon or 1. I'll book it tonight. Um, but I got to go do that. No, because I'm using an iPhone 17 Pro Max Plus 2 terabit. It's got I like the way the phone picks up the resonance of my voice. But yeah, we'll get it going. But I'll start trying to use these things for the show. If it's better for people at home, I'm willing to take that one or take that hit for the team. If you know what I'm saying.
But my friends, my family, I must go make dinner now, and we'll see everybody on Friday. Like I said, it'll be like 12 or 1 o'clock. And, yeah. Remember, the true grower is not afraid to take risks. The true grower makes educated, stupid decisions. The true grower is the forever student. Love yourselves. Love your plants. And the world's a dark fucking place, a little fucked up right now. We've got to learn we can get along and have discord again. So stop being cock suckers, all of us. Let's get along. We got much bigger fish to fry than each other. All right, Uncle Potsquatch loves you. I'll see you Friday. Word your mother. I will listen it back and check it out. Good call, Calamity. All right, peace out, everybody. Much love. All right.